Hey everyone, welcome back to Books to Riches.
Yes, welcome back.
Now today we're going to be talking about a topic that I think is near and dear to everyone's heart, financial freedom.
Yeah, who doesn't want to feel financially free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we've been diving deep into a book called The Cure for Money Madness
Mhm.
to see if it really offers any, kind of like actionable advice.
Yeah, and I think one of the really interesting things that the book starts out with is this concept of a money monster.
Money months.
A money monster, right? So
Kind
like we all have this money monster that kind of like lives in our subconscious,
Uh-huh.
and it's been shaped by all of our experiences with money,
Right.
especially in childhood.
So you're saying like even those early memories, those things we might not even remember that clearly are still impacting our finances today.
Exactly. Like think about it, like what are your earliest memories of money?
Hmm.
Was it like, your parents always arguing about bills or, maybe money was always really tight? So those experiences, even if we don't think about them consciously, they're still there shaping our beliefs about money.
So it's like this underlying kind of like script that's running in the background.
Yeah, and it can really lead to some, not so great financial decisions. What the book calls money madness.
Money madness.
Yeah, it's that feeling of like being out of control with your money.
Yeah.
Making choices that feel good in the moment.
Right. Impulsive purchases and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. But then, later on, you're like, oh, why did I do that?
Right. Yeah, I've definitely been there.
And, the book talks about this couple, Alan and Sue Borden.
Oh, yeah, I remember them.
They were making good money.
Yeah, they were high earners.
But they were always stressed about money, always in debt.
Yeah, they always felt like they had to keep up with the Joneses.
Right, like they deserved to have it all.
Yeah.
But it just led to more spending and more anxiety.
Right. So it's not just about being broke. It's like the whole emotional baggage that comes with it.
Exactly. And that's what the book really tries to address.
So is there hope? Like, does the book offer any solutions?
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole point is to help you break free from that money madness and achieve financial freedom.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a really practical approach, focusing on 4 key areas:
Okay, I'm listening.
earning more, spending less, saving more, and investing wisely.
Okay, so kind of like a holistic approach to personal finance.
Exactly. And we'll definitely be diving into each of those areas in more detail.
Right, sounds good. Let's start with earning more. Then what kind of strategies does the book suggest?
Well, one that I found really interesting is called the try for no strategy.
Try for no.
Yeah, you try for no in sales.
Wait, so you're saying I should be trying to get rejected?
It sounds counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is that by seeking out those no responses, you're actually gathering valuable information.
Yeah.
You learn what doesn't work, who isn't your ideal client, and you know how to refine your pitch.
So it's like turning rejection into a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And it can actually lead to closing more deals in the long run with the right clients.
Okay, I'm starting to see this.
And you can apply the same principle to negotiating raises.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, instead of going in all gung-ho about why you deserve more money,
Right.
you frame it as a collaboration,
Okay.
highlighting your contributions and how a raise benefits both you and the company.
So it's about finding that win-win situation.
Exactly.
All right, that's a great tip for earning more. But let's talk about the flip side, spending less.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I know I struggle with that sometimes.
Well, the book actually advises against rigid budgets.
Really?
Yeah, because those can often make you feel deprived.
Right, you just want to rebel.
Exactly. And then you end up overspending anyway.
Yeah, so what's the alternative?
Well, it's called spending intentions.
Spending intentions, okay.
Yeah, so instead of setting strict limits, you create flexible ranges for different categories like clothing or entertainment.
So it's like giving yourself a little bit of wiggle room.
Exactly. You're still being mindful, but you're not setting yourself up for failure.
Okay, that makes sense. And there was another tip I remember about credit cards.
Oh, yeah, ditching the plastic.
That sounds scary.
It can be, but, think of it as a way to reset your spending habits.
Okay.
When you have to physically hand over cash for every purchase,
Uh-huh.
you become much more aware of where your money's going.
Yeah, you can't just swipe and forget.
Exactly. And the book's author only tried this himself, and going cash only for 4 months.
Wow, and what happened?
He said it was totally transformative.
Really?
Yeah, he and his wife started appreciating experiences more than material things, and they actually found joy in saving up for things they really wanted.
It's like shifting your values a little bit.
Yeah, and realizing that you don't need to buy happiness.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've covered earning more and spending less. Now let's move on to saving.
The S word.
I know it's not always the most exciting topic, but it's crucial, right?
Absolutely. And the book has some really compelling stories about saving.
Like the one about Donna and Jennifer, right?
Yeah, those two neighbors.
One bought a house, the other one rented and invested the difference.
And guess who came out ahead?
I'm going to guess Jennifer, the one who rented and invested.
You got it.
Wow. So maybe renting isn't always a bad thing.
It really depends on your individual circumstances.
Right.
And the book really challenges that traditional idea that owning a home is always the best investment.
Okay, so it's about thinking outside the box.
Exactly. And, the book also emphasizes the power of automating your savings.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Set it and forget it.
Right, out of sight, out of mind.
Makes it much easier to be consistent.
Okay, so let's say we've managed to save some money now. What's the best way to invest it?
Well, the book introduces this concept called the rainbow portfolio.
Rainbow portfolio. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's all about diversification.
Okay, so not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And, it's not about chasing the latest hot stock or trying to time the market.
What is it about then?
It's about spreading your investments across a range of asset classes like stocks, bonds, real estate, even commodities.
So it's about creating a balanced portfolio that can weather any storm.
Precisely. And here's a fun fact. The book actually recommends investing in boring companies.
Boring company.
Yeah, think of companies like those that make everyday essentials, things people always need no matter what's happening in the economy.
Okay, like consumer staples.
Exactly. They may not be flashy, but they tend to be more stable and can actually outperform those exciting companies in the long run.
So it's about slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, consistency is key. And the book also delves into the historical performance of the stock market,
Got it.
showing that despite all the ups and downs over time, it's consistently trended upwards.
So it's about playing the long game.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue in investing.
This is all great advice, but I'm curious, how does the book address the emotional side of money?
That's a great question because, we've been talking about these money monsters and money
Right.
madness.
Right? Like, how do we actually cultivate a healthier relationship with our finances?
Well, the book emphasizes that true financial freedom isn't just about the numbers.
Yeah.
It's about understanding our own money stories, letting go of those limiting beliefs,
Right.
and developing a more positive mindset towards money.
So it's about shifting from that scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Exactly, believing in our ability to create wealth and achieve our financial goals.
It's about changing the script that's running in the background.
Yeah, rewriting those old stories and creating new ones that empower us.
This has been incredibly insightful so far, but I'm still curious, are there any practical tools or exercises the book suggests?
Absolutely. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore some of the book's most practical techniques.
Okay, I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Uh,
Welcome back to Books to Riches. We're going to be continuing to explore some of the ideas in The Cure for Money Madness.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I remember we ended last time talking about, kind of like detaching from those credit cards and like trying to, use more cash.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what the book talks about when it talks about money breaths?
Well, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's related.
Okay.
So remember how we were talking about that money monster that's
Oh.
kind of like lurking in your subconscious and, driving those impulse buys?
Yeah.
Money breaths are about hitting the pause button before those impulses take over.
Okay, so it's like a mindfulness practice for my finances.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine you're browsing online
Okay.
and you see, that pair of shoes you've been wanting.
The ones that have been in my cart for like 6 months.
Right.
I'm guilty of that.
But before you click add to cart or, buy now,
Yeah.
take a deep breath. That's your money breath.
So I'm creating space between the impulse and the actual purchase.
Yeah, that pause gives you a chance to check in with yourself.
Okay. Like, ask myself, do I really need this?
Exactly what's driving this urge to buy?
Am I trying to fill some void with this purchase?
Right. Is this an emotional thing or is it
Yeah.
a practical need?
That's such a good point because I know I definitely have fallen into that trap of emotional spending before.
Yeah, and it's something we all do,
Absolutely.
But the cool thing about money breaths is they're not just for shopping.
Yeah, where else can I use them?
The book suggests using them in any financial situation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like take a money breath before you check your bank balance
Right.
or before you open a bill or even, before you have a conversation about money with your partner.
So just getting in the habit of pausing and breathing.
Right. Yeah, it's about becoming more aware of your emotional reactions to money
Okay.
and then making conscious choices instead of just reacting impulsively.
But it's like responding instead of reacting.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay, so money breaths can be really helpful for, managing those kind of like day-to-day financial decisions.
Hmm.
But what about bigger things like debt?
Yeah, debt is a tough one.
Because sometimes it can be useful,
Mm.
right? But other times it can be like a real burden.
Yeah. And the book acknowledges that.
Okay.
It's not saying all debt is bad,
Right.
but it's about using it strategically, not letting it control you.
So how do we break free from that cycle of, mindless spending and debt?
Well, remember that tip about ditching the credit cards?
Yeah, yeah.
The book actually delves deeper into that,
Oh.
encouraging you to try a cash-only experiment.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that before.
Yeah, it might sound extreme,
It kind of does.
but it can be really eye-opening.
So you're talking about like literally putting my credit cards away.
Yeah, like maybe even cutting them up.
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
You don't have to cut them up.
Okay.
But, just try putting them away for a set period, maybe a month or two,
Okay.
and commit to using only cash for everything.
So it's like a financial detox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how much more aware you become of your spending habits.
Right. Because when you have to actually see the money leaving your wallet,
Yeah.
it's different than just swiping a card.
The author describes how he and his wife tried this,
Oh, interesting.
and they found that it actually shifted their values.
Oh, wow. How so?
They started appreciating experiences more
Uh-huh.
than material possessions.
Okay.
And they actually found joy in saving up for things they truly desired.
So it's like retraining your brain to delay gratification.
Exactly, instead of always wanting everything right now.
Yeah, that instant gratification can be really dangerous.
It can. And, speaking of big financial decisions,
Okay.
let's talk about buying a house.
Oh, yeah, we touched on this before.
With Dawn and Jennifer.
Right. The renter versus the homeowner.
And the book really goes beyond just that story.
Okay.
It really urges you to think critically about this whole idea of homeownership.
Okay. So not just assuming that it's the American dream and that's what we all have to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's about looking beyond that emotional appeal and really crunching the numbers.
So really thinking about like, what are all the costs involved?
Yeah, like mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, even potential investment returns.
Right, because those are things that people don't always think about.
Yeah, and sometimes it might turn out that renting is actually the smarter choice.
Right, especially if you're not planning to stay in one place for a long time.
Exactly. Or if you value flexibility.
Right.
The book points out that, the average person only stays in a house for about 5 years.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so if you're not planning on putting down roots, renting and investing, the difference might actually build your wealth faster.
Okay, so it's about challenging those assumptions and figuring out what actually makes sense for your individual situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay, good to know. Now, I'm curious, does the book talk about anything beyond just, the typical earning, spending, saving?
Yeah, actually, it delves into an area that you might not expect.
Okay, what's that?
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
Yeah, giving back.
Okay, that's interesting because I usually think of that as something you do once you've already achieved financial freedom.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Okay.
But the book argues that giving back can actually be a part of the path to financial freedom.
Okay, how so?
Well, it's about shifting your focus from me to we.
Okay.
When you're constantly focused on accumulating more stuff, you can easily fall into that scarcity mindset.
Right. Always wanting more, never feeling like you have enough.
Exactly, and philanthropy is a way to break out of that cycle.
Okay, so it's about recognizing the abundance that you already have.
Right, and being grateful for what you have and sharing it with others.
So it's not just about donating money. It could be about volunteering your time or your skills.
Yeah, exactly. Finding ways to make a meaningful impact with your giving.
And the book actually calls this giving to get.
Yeah, it's this idea that by contributing to causes we care about, we gain something invaluable in return.
So it's not just about giving. It's about getting something back as well.
Right, and what you get back is that sense of purpose, that connection, that fulfillment.
Okay, so it's about enriching your life in a different way.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not just about the money, it's about the feeling you get from making a difference.
That's a really powerful concept. And, it makes me think about how often we get caught up in that, like rat race of, earning and spending.
Right.
And we forget about the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters.
And this idea of giving to get it really reminds us that, there's more to life than just money.
Yeah, it's about finding that balance, between taking care of yourself financially and also contributing to something bigger than yourself.
That's a great point now as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
I want to touch on one last concept that you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Actual net worth.
Yeah, that's a really important one.
I'm still a little confused about what that actually means.
Okay, so you know how we usually calculate our net worth?
Yeah, by adding up our assets and
Yeah.
subtracting our liabilities.
Right, that's the traditional way.
Yeah.
But actual net worth goes beyond those measures.
Okay, so it's not just about the numbers in my bank account.
It's about recognizing that your true worth encompasses so much more.
Okay, I like that.
It includes things like your earning potential,
Uh-huh.
your relationships, your skills, your talents, your health, even your sense of humor.
Wow, so it's really taking a holistic view.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about acknowledging all those intangible assets
Okay.
that contribute to your overall well-being.
Right, because those are things that are really valuable, but we don't always think of them as assets.
Yeah, and they're things that money can't buy.
Right.
So the book encourages you to create an actual net worth statement
Okay.
that reflects all of these things.
So alongside my financial assets, I'm also listing out my relationships, my skills, my health.
Right, and it's a way to remind yourself that you are worth so much more than just your bank balance.
I love that it's such a powerful reminder,
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to get caught up in that comparison game and feel like you're not enough.
Yeah, but when you look at your actual net worth,
Uh-huh.
you see that you have so much to offer.
Right. It's about recognizing the abundance in your life,
Exactly.
the richness of your experiences,
Yeah.
the value that you bring to the world.
It's about shifting your perspective from scarcity to abundance.
And that's really what this whole book is about, isn't
Yeah, it's about finding that true financial freedom,
it?
which is not just about the money, it's about the feeling.
Yeah, it's about that inner peace and that sense of security.
Right, and knowing that you're on the right path.
Absolutely. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Books to Riches.
Yeah, glad to have you back.
Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into the cure for money madness,
Uh-huh.
we've talked about so many things, money monsters, spending less, giving back.
Yeah.
But I really want to, bring it all home now and, see how we can actually apply all this stuff to our own life.
Yeah, and I think this last part really ties everything together nicely.
Okay, good.
Remember we were talking about actual net worth
Yeah.
and those intangible assets?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the book argues that cultivating a sense of gratitude
Right.
is a key component of true wealth.
Gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude.
That's interesting because I usually associate gratitude with, happiness and well-being.
Right.
But how does it fit into financial freedom?
Well, think about it. When you're focused on what you already have,
Uh-huh.
you're less likely to fall into that scarcity mindset
Yeah.
that drives money madness.
Right. Always wanting more, never feeling like it's enough.
Exactly. Yeah, gratitude helps you shift your perspective
Okay.
and appreciate the abundance in your life, even if you're not yet where you want to be financially.
So it's like training your brain to focus on the positive.
Yeah, and that can have a ripple effect in other areas of your life, including your finances.
Okay, I can see that.
And remember those money breaths we talked about?
Oh, yeah, the mindfulness technique
Exactly.
for managing impulses.
Yeah.
So how can we actually use those in our daily lives?
Well, the key is to make it a habit.
Okay. To integrate them into your daily routine.
So not just like a one-time thing.
No, it's got to be something you do consistently.
Right, like any habit you're trying to build.
Exactly. And the author suggests creating what he calls money breath moments throughout your day.
Money breath moments.
Yeah, like little reminders to pause and check in with yourself financially.
Okay, so give me an example.
Like maybe you set a reminder on your phone
Yeah, okay.
to take a money breath before you check your online banking
Uh-huh.
or before you start browsing those tempting online stores.
Okay, so just being more aware of those moments when I might be tempted to spend.
Right, and using that breath to interrupt the pattern.
Okay, and make a more conscious choice.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about creating that space for mindful decision-making.
Right, instead of just letting my money monster take over.
Yeah, and here's a really cool thing. The book suggests linking your money breath moments
Mhm.
to things you already do regularly.
Okay, so give me an example of that.
Like, say you're a coffee drinker.
Every time you reach for your coffee cup, take a money breath.
Oh, I like that.
Or maybe you take public transportation every day.
Uh-huh.
Each time you get on the bus or the train, that's your cue to pause and breathe.
Okay, so it's like turning those everyday moments into little opportunities.
Yeah, to check in with your financial self,
I love that.
right? And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Okay.
It's like building a muscle.
Right. Consistency is key.
Exactly.
This whole conversation has been such a great reminder that financial freedom is not just about the numbers.
No, it's about so much more than that.
It's about our mindset, our
Yeah,
habits,
yeah.
our relationship with money.
Exactly. And that's what the Cure for Money Madness really emphasizes,
Sure.
that it's an ongoing journey.
Uh-huh. Not a destination.
Yeah, it's about understanding your own money stories, letting go of those limiting beliefs,
Right.
developing those healthy habits that support your goals.
It's not about being perfect.
No,
Hmm.
no one's perfect.
There will be setbacks,
Yeah.
but it's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly, and learning from those mistakes.
Yeah. Picking yourself up and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I think this deep dive has really shown how empowering this book is.
Absolutely.
You have the power to take control of your finances
Okay.
and create the future you want.
I completely agree. And, on that note, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question
Okay?
from The Cure for Money Madness. If you could eliminate one money-related fear holding you back, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And what could you achieve without it?
Yeah, take some time to really reflect on that question.
Yeah, I encourage everyone listening to really think about that.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
You know what? Sometimes just identifying that fear
Mm-hmm.
can be the first step to overcoming it.
It can, yeah. Sometimes just bringing it to the surface is enough.
Yeah, and, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have.
But this is just the beginning, There's always more to learn and explore when it comes to personal finance.
Absolutely. And, the best thing you can do is keep learning, keep growing, and keep taking those steps towards financial freedom.
And remember, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more we understand about ourselves and our relationship with money,
Uh-huh.
the better equipped we are to make those wise decisions
Right.
that lead to that true financial freedom that we're all seeking.
And that feeling of peace and security and joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us on this deep dive into The Cure for Money Madness.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you found it as insightful and as inspiring as we did.
We did.
And we hope that you'll continue to join us on our journey
Yeah.
to financial freedom here on Books to Riches.
See you next time.